There it is. Shouldn't be black. Alright guys, I got another quick video for you. It's not turning out that way again. Another easy job. Working on an Aquahot 450, right? No, I'm right. That's a different one. HHE200. Our customer said it would operate, but we wouldn't get any hot air inside. Found the system was calling for the pumps to pump, but they weren't pumping. So I figured I'd just change out the pump. Then I took the pump out. And I had some black stuff coming out. I had to save it for the owner right here. I don't know if you can see all that sludge in the bottom right there. So now, instead of just changing out 2 pumps, I'm flushing out the entire AquaHot system. These are check valves, so I can't drain it from this way without, completely tearing the system apart. But from what I can tell, they're empty anyways. So I got the pumps out, made some extensions for the lines, and now I just put some water in. That's where the tank goes. And we got it coming back out again. It really should not be black. So I've been flushing this for about 15-20 minutes now. And it's still coming out gross and black. See all the sediment on the side right there. This is what I'm going to be doing for, I guess, another hour and a half until this is all flushed out. I mean, you can see all the sediment that came out before. This is just gross. I've never seen it this bad. Probably should have been a dead giveaway when there was rust on the bottom of the old pump. So if I would have put the new pumps in, probably would have just destroyed the new pumps with all this. So. I don't know, I guess this thing only sat for about 10 years not really being used, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Is it getting clearer? I'm just using my water heater clean out nozzle, so it's pretty nice. You can turn it on and off right there. But the good news is it looks like we're running pretty clean now. Well, I got the first pump installed. It's all flushed out. I let this settle for a couple days. You can kind of see that sludge a little bit better. Can you see it better? I don't know. That's all really bad stuff. It shouldn't be in there. And then of course, because everything's got to be difficult, I noticed that if somebody's capped off, this is the normal drain. This is how you normally drain it out. But they've capped that off with a PVC plug. So that's my next step, is I got to take this off, put a valve in there so it's correct. So I don't want to do all this and find out that this leaks after a few days. So to do that, I'm going to take the burner off. Take the burner off. That's actually not too difficult. There's just a 10mm bolt or nut there and up there. Slide the whole thing out of the way, then I can get to that. So let's do that. Okay, well that's out of the way. That wasn't too bad. So now I just have to take that off. Go get a valve, probably a ball valve that should be on there. Melt pipe thread. Then probably we'll be back. All I have to do is like that. Alright, so that's just going to be a ball valve hose bib. So now in the future you can just hook up a garden hose right here, run it down here, and drain it out a lot easier than the way I had to do it. Of course, you could also just use a 1/2-inch cap if you wanted to. I used this very specialized part. Very specialized. Hard to get this part. It's hard to find one of these at Home Depot. That is sarcasm. And of course I just use pipe dope because it's hard to get Teflon tape wrapped around that guy right there. So let's get this burner put back in and start putting the other pump in. Now guys, I'm going to be 100% honest. It's a windy, cold day today, and I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm not going to take you too much through the replacement of this pump. There's a actual retrofit kit, because that This pump isn't available anymore. They went through 2 other renditions that were also failed. And so this is the new style retrofit kit. And these instructions that come with it don't cover replacing this style pump. So all I did was use the mount that it comes with. This is the mount that it comes with. It's supposed to go to a bracket that has an offset sort of a shelf to it and just uses some plastic rivets, these little push rivets to go on. That works great on the newer ones, but not on this one. And then it has a rubber band as a spacer, as an isolator, and then this clip mount. And this clip mount's got these push barbs that go through here and lock into place. So you're also gonna have to replace the hose because, although it doesn't look like it, these fittings here, these ports, are a lot bigger. So they have molded hoses. Let's fit right here. That'll fit on the new pump and go to the old connection right there. And another one up here. So you just have to cut these ones to fit, wire it all up. Even the plug that the pump comes with isn't compatible, so you have to wire in a new plug. But that's going to come in handy when we go to bleed this system out, and I'll show you how that'll work. So hopefully when we come back, pump installed, we're ready to flush this or test the system out. There you go, it's installed. Like I said, there's a little rubber band that goes around there. Got the hoses hooked up, everything put back together again. So now I just need to add some water. I'm just going to add water so I'm not wasting boiler antifreeze if this whole thing doesn't work. Right? Seems like a good idea. Got the water filled up right there. I don't know if you can see. It's a little over the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this pigtail they already gave me. Hook it up to a 12-volt battery source so I don't have to worry about turning on the AquaHot. Make sure you get the right polarity. Is it pumping? Doesn't look like it's going down very well. So the motor is pumping. So what sometimes you got to do on these, let's see if this works. This little check valve gets stuck. Hey, look at that. It's flowing. So that's a little trick right there. You got to help out the check valve sometimes. Plop, 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 plop. Let's see if we'll watch it come through the other side eventually. Well, I think it's safe to say that this might be a little bit too corroded to see through, but if you look down in here, it definitely is circulating and coming back through. So it should be coming on that line right there. I didn't get to see it come through. So it's been running just fine for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to disconnect this, and now that I have a drain, I can hook up a hose and drain out everything I just put in there. And then I can put this back together, fill it up with antifreeze, and hook all my wires back up and be good. Alright, I got my drain hose hooked up. It's a good thing I put a drain in here. It'll be a lot easier to do this now. So I just open that. I come out over here. And it's draining out. That was a little bit easier. Alright, so I know it looks just like RV winterization antifreeze, but it's not. This is boiler antifreeze, strictly for boiler systems. So don't use winterization antifreeze for this. It should be, the mixture should be about 50%, 50-50. I think down to 35-65, but 50-50 is easier for me to do with these buckets or these containers. So I'll pour in one, put in water, pour in one, put in water. Be a pretty easy way to doing it, and then we'll run it and cycle it, try to get all the air out. It'll be a constant sort of struggle, but we'll get there. All right, so it's filled up. I got my battery hooked up again, so I'm gonna prime this thing again, hopefully. Hey, it's flowing. That's a good sign. Okay. So now I got to do the other one. So I'm just going to go ahead and hook up power to here and do the same thing all over again. I guess the next step, after bleeding everything out and running the pump, is to turn the system back on again. let's go turn it on. Alright, so the system's running. Get it up to temperature, then I turn the furnace on inside. That's a good plan. Now, I didn't tell you guys, but I had an electrical problem on the thermostat side before all of this. But that would be a long video. Alright. So those are turned on, zone 3 and zone 1. So it's been running. We're still waiting for it to get up to temperature. It's just that fuel. That's recently been serviced, at least less than a year ago, so that's a good sign. So this pump right there says STP. That's the stir pump, which should be this little guy right here that gives us hot water. So I don't expect anything to happen until this whole thing's up to temperature. Oh, look at that! It just happened. I just turned on the 2 pumps, so this one should be running, and the other one's running, and it looks like it's even trying to take some of that in. So I can even feel it. This is actually getting warm. Look at that. This is getting warm. We've successfully done it. We've done it. So exciting. That's pretty good timing though. I couldn't even time that better if I tried. So that's good news. And it's steaming, but that's just because I spilled a lot of antifreeze in water. That's my fault. That's on me. Well, that seems to be getting warm. Alright. I guess we can go inside and see if the heat exchangers are blowing hot air. Alright, pay no attention to this mess over here. Alright. I can see it blowing. Oh, that's nice hot air. My customer's gonna be so happy. Just in time for what? Winter to be over? I come down here. That's an intake side. Yeah, probably. Ooh, that's hot air. That is hot air. There's another one here. Right there, and that's hot air. See, I got hot air coming out of there. I think I got everything I want right now. I think we did it. Pay no attention to that mess. All right. Well, guys, so there you have it. Another job that was a little bit more than I thought it was going to be. I was just going to originally change out those pumps, but ended up having to flush the system out. As far as the rest of this goes, if you can hear me, I still let this run for a little while, make sure nothing's leaking, put it back together, and put everything back together on the inside. But there it is, changing out circulating pumps and flushing out an AquaHot system on a 2005 Travel Supreme. Is that what this is? You guys might remember this. I fixed the refrigerator on this before. If you can even hear me, it's all windy, I bet. Oh, AquaHot 450. No, not 450. HHE200. Peace. Some people might be unaware that there's a thermostat in the basement usually on these. Sometimes it's a little knob, sometimes it's actually a thermostat. It's usually set for about 40, I don't know, 38, not 38 degrees, but around 40. That way in your basement, keeps your water from freezing. So on this one, it's right here. So let me go ahead and turn it back to 50 there. You don't want to keep that too hot because then you're just wasting diesel fuel warming up your basement. But all that does is turn on the heat exchanger fan down here. The loop, everything goes through, but the zones upstairs, the fans don't turn on. Bye guys. What does it look like in there? It's not so good. Some pipe clean out. That was a little bit easier. Oops.